Beneath the kitchen sink, I sprawled on my back, the chill of the wrench biting into my palm. The cramped space reeked of soggy timber, and the faint tang of sealing compound. I was midway through rerouting a water pipe, a job I'd tackled countless times, when my wife's voice pierced the quiet, sharp and cold as a winter gust. "Have you broken the news to him about leaving next month?" her sister prodded, her words laced with eager prying. A thick pause hung in the air, heavy with intent. Then came my wife's response, brittle as a dry branch snapping. "Not yet. I'm securing that promotion first. Then I'll claim half the clients." My body stilled, breath trapped in my lungs. The wrench twisted in my grip, a slow, automatic motion, as if tightening a bolt could stitch together the life I felt fraying. They assumed I was off at the hardware store, fetching sealant, playing the part of the oblivious spouse. Instead, I'd been wedged under the counter for a quarter hour, grappling with metal pipes and my own naivety. Now I grappled with something heavier. Betrayal. 13 years of marriage, flawed yes, but rooted in what I believed was shared trust, crumbled in an instant. We'd crossed paths at a corporate mixer, amid the clatter of glasses and the buzz of career-driven chatter. Her eyes held a subtle spark, a pull that made you feel like a piece of her grand design. Together, we forged a life, a house, a company, a joint dream. I entrusted her with everything, client lists, banking codes, even the keys to my private accounts. She, it appeared, had only ever shown me a meticulously crafted mask. The clues were there, faint at first. A phone perpetually guarded, late-night meetings that didn't match her calendar, excuses honed to perfection, raised to value partnership, to believe in the person I'd sworn to stand by. I dismissed the knot in my stomach, blaming her workload, her ambition, anything but duplicity. Until that moment, under the sink, her words shattered the illusion. I completed the plumbing task in silence, my hands moving with robotic precision. The rest of the remodel unfolded the same way. I set tiles, smoothed grout, and polished surfaces like a man driven by instinct, while she lounged nearby, scrolling her device, her feet resting on the oak table I'd built from scratch. She tossed me a fleeting smile, as if I were just another part of the scenery. Inside, I was plotting, reassessing, redrawing the map of our future. I allowed myself 6 days to act, 6 days to watch, to collect proof, to unravel her scheme without her sensing my shift. She didn't know I held the keys to the company's backup systems, that every file, every correspondence, every original blueprint was duplicated on a secure server I'd established 9 months prior during a feud with a competitor. Half the clients weren't just names, they were bonds I'd nurtured, agreements I'd sealed, software I'd coded through sleepless nights. She hadn't done her homework. I had. On the first day, I met our attorney in a tucked-away diner across the city. The business, by law, was mine. I had the founding documents, the patents, the digital trails of every choice made. I directed him to draft dissolution papers, invoking Clause 17C, violation of partner trust. On the second day, I redirected all recurring payments from our shared accounts to a private fund I'd set up years earlier. She didn't notice, too absorbed in her phone, messaging someone she called only K. On the third day, I mirrored her device. The infidelity was undeniable. Dates, locations, billing records. So was the job offer in Portland, paired with her scheme to poach clients and spin herself as the wronged party. Her recklessness bordered on absurd. On the fourth day, I prepared her favorite dinner. Seared lamb, garlic potatoes, a bottle of her chosen Pinot Noir. "What's the occasion?" she asked, her gaze sharpening as she raised her glass. I smiled, the image of loyalty. "To a wife like you and to fresh starts." She beamed, her glass tapping mine, unaware my toast marked a ticking clock. After the meal, I slid an envelope across the table. "A small surprise," I said. She opened it, her face morphing from intrigue to puzzlement, then to a flicker of dread. Inside was a single page. Her resignation from the company, pre-endorsed with a digital signature she'd forgotten I could access. Attached was a valuation of her share, 8%, based on her tracked hours and client retention. "This isn't legal," she sputtered, her voice climbing. "I never signed this." I tilted my head unruffled. "You did the second you schemed to gut our firm. Clause 17C. Look it up." Her fingers scrambled for her phone. The board's already informed. I pressed on. And the clients? They're mine. The contracts bear my name. You'd know if you ever read them. Her cheeks blazed with fury. You're bluffing. I pushed a tablet toward her, displaying her texts with K. Every exchange, every image, every deception exposed. She slumped into her seat, defiance fading. I leaned in, my tone even. You misjudged the man who built this home from the ground up. You thought I wouldn't hear. You were mistaken. The fallout was clean and calculated. Her promotion was rescinded after HR received an anonymous dossier outlining her unethical conduct and breaches of confidentiality. The affair collapsed publicly. Kay was married, and his spouse got the same dossier. The clients were locked in. I'd reached out to key contacts in advance, securing their allegiance with ironclad legal safeguards. She walked away with a small payout, more than she'd earned. A week later, she left. No dramatic showdown, no desperate appeals. Just the soft scrape of boxes and the drone of her car's engine. I stood on the porch, watching as she packed the last of her belongings, her hands unsteady, her gaze hollow. She didn't glance back. I didn't need her to. Retribution isn't about rage. It's about precision, about letting someone weave their own snare, while you forge the key. She saw me as a worker with a band on his finger, a tool for her gain. She forgot I was a planner. A man who thinks a dozen moves ahead. The kitchen gleams now. Fresh cabinets, gleaming surfaces, no hint of the decay she left. I don't miss her. But sometimes, in the quiet of the house, I see her face as she opened that envelope. The instant she realized the man she crossed wasn't just mending pipes. He was listening, strategizing, prevailing.